What's up, guys? Welcome back to Jimmy Talks. So, this Brown University shooting has shown that the FBI is just absolutely useless. They are just incompetent. They're either willfully incompetent or they're being incompetent on purpose. We've had eyewitnesses saying that apparently this guy yelled something, but then we have other people saying, I don't know about that. Then there's other people who were there seeing the shooting said the guy had a long gun, but then the police were saying he was using a 9mm pistol. But really, at the end of the day, what we are seeing with this shooting at Brown University is a textbook case of what happens when law enforcement agencies cease to function as a law enforcement agency, an investigative group of people, right? And they become just really a public relations firm for the regime. They're absolutely useless. There's a simple but damning fact. A shooting occurs. A name comes up. It's this Mustafa Karbouch or something like that. I'm probably mispronouncing it. It doesn't really matter if I'm mispronouncing it. But then, within a very short window of time, every single trace of this person begins to disappear from public view. And I'm not even trying to go on like a conspiracy theory tangent because there's a lot of low IQ nonsense conspiracy theory stuff out there. But this is actually an observable reality. The FBI, which has the capacity, not only them, but also a bunch of other government agencies, they have the capacity to monitor millions of Americans in real time, whenever they want, and they don't follow the rules. You need a warrant, but they just won't do that. They can do whatever they want. And then they suddenly become clumsy and secretive and they can't find a mass shooter. What's going on here? They also released a video asking for help to identify the suspect like they normally do after every mass shooting. It's standard procedure, really. Then they pull the video down and they edit it and then they repost it again. Not really sure why. What possible investigative purpose does that serve? I don't know. The only logical answer is that the unedited video or maybe getting his face out to the public was deemed a greater threat than the shooter remaining at large. I don't really know. The priority shifted from apprehension to what it seems like is now narrative control. Now, at the same time, Brown University's administrative department, whatever, the people who handle all the paperwork, the websites, stuff like that, which would normally move at whatever pace they decide to move on when it comes to whatever they're having to do. It's an administrative department at a college. This isn't necessarily like the most high speed of individuals, right? Suddenly, they're operating with the speed of a special forces team. It's like some high speed operators. Any record or any mention, any digital footprint of this guy, he had multiple news articles that he posted. He wrote articles. Mustafa Karbouch, again, was his name. Anything that was associated with him on the university's website is now wiped clean off the website. So if we're trying to find a shooter, why wouldn't we take everything that he said or his profiles online and try to connect the dots somehow? This is called open source intelligence. So why did they remove it? Because at this point, this doesn't seem like the actions of like a confused college administration personnel just doing stuff. It doesn't really seem like that. This more so seems like they've received some urgent commands from a higher authority to wipe out all of his stuff online immediately that fast. Now, this alone on its own, I mean, it's not weird on its own. I guess you could say it's not enough evidence is what I'm trying to say. It's not sufficient enough to say something. But this, along with the FBI's retraction, the university also wiping everything off. Hey, we can't find this guy. Let's just wipe everything off. It appears a little bit coincidental, right? It seems like something is pre-established here for managing a person. Now, let's give the benefit of the doubt to this whole entire situation, as you need to keep an open mind and unbiased when it comes to investigations as much as you can. Nobody is completely unbiased. It's impossible. But it just makes me even more suspicious when I keep an open mind on here. Now, what if this guy isn't even the shooter and he's just a patsy? Let's just throw that out there. Let's just say that that's the theory, okay? I'm not saying it's true, it's just a theory. Who actually knows, though? The fact of the matter is, No one has been arrested, and no one believes what the FBI even has to say anymore, and even for a while now. Is this a false flag attack that was carried out by someone and they just planted a false patsy person to place the blame on, and they wanted to scrub him from the internet so no one can find evidence that it was who they suspected it to be? Because this is ridiculous. This is the FBI. I mean, they're supposed to be the most premier law enforcement agency in the world, and this is all we get from them. They're just absolutely useless. They're corrupt to the core. Then also, this comes in a collaboration of X, as they also remove his online profile. This alleged suspect, I should say, his account is erased, and there's no public record of his political views, his associations, his motivations. We do know that he was a big pro-Palestine guy, but that's really about it, and that he was a fat guy. Like, we have a picture of him, but that's it. He just disappeared into thin air. We're left with a ghost. Ooh, we can't find him. He disappeared into the thin air. There's just a name without a face, so there's a crime without any context. This is just another information war that's waged against the American public. Nothing new here to see, to be honest. Like, we're told we live in the most technologically advanced surveillance state in human history. We have Palantir that's supposed to be scanning everyone's AI. They'll do that if you're critical of Israel, but we apparently can't use Palantir to find a mass shooter at a very prestigious Ivy League college, because that makes a lot of sense. This society where this technology goes on, we can't find a mass shooter, but privacy is dead. So tell me how that works. A mass shooter needs to be disappeared. The system works flawlessly to make them vanish, but they can find out if you criticize Israel or you have the wrong think or something like that. The tech isn't the problem here. The will is the problem, actually. You could say the tech is obviously the problem too, but you get what I'm saying. It's more so the people using it. The system is just functioning exactly as designed, and its design is not to protect you, but to protect itself from uncomfortable truths. That's just the reality of the situation here. Then we also see, I've seen this on my X feed, like on the ground scene at Brown University. It was like a perfect metaphor for the whole entire bullshit series saga that we got going on. We saw some theatrics from the FBI, the agents in their blue jackets, FBI yellow lettering. They're walking in a slow synchronized line, and they're staring at the ground, and they're kicking the snow with their boots, looking for shell casings in the snow or something like that. This just kind of looks like it's, hey, we're doing something, guys. Don't worry, we're doing something. Don't worry, we're totally not against you or the American public. Anyone with a shred of critical thinking can see that this is just incompetence. It's what you do when you have no real leads or when you have been ordered to stall. The real work was happening in server rooms and executive offices and all that kind of stuff, and they ensured that the public story was sanitized. This isn't isolated. You're like, all right, Jimmy, you're sounding a bit conspiracy theory-ish. I get it. But this is not an isolated incident. This is a pattern of behavior that has become the defining characteristic of our federal law enforcement. Look at the attempted assassination of President Trump. Like him or dislike him, I'm not even the biggest fan of him anymore. But you still can't say, that wasn't bullshit. Like, the official story is that Thomas Matthew Crooks was completely unknown. He was a lone wolf who just materialized out of thin air with a rifle. This is so, laughable. It borders on contempt for the public. Like, we don't fucking like you. We think you're so stupid that this is what we're going to force feed you. Here's your slop. Accept it or not. If you don't accept it, you're going to jail. The FBI has access to virtually all digital communication, financial transactions, vast network of informants. But this is what we get. The idea that a person who attempted to kill Donald Trump was completely off their radar is not a failure. It's just a lie. You're telling me the security teams on there didn't account for a high ledge position, a high ground position, looking straight down at the target? It's stupid. This suggests that foreknowledge is too politically toxic to admit. Obviously, they know about this stuff. They just don't want to tell you. Obviously. We also have another example. The murder of Charlie Kirk reinforced this. The FBI, again, with its limitless budget, their technological wizardry, their Palantir AI that will catch you for being antiseptic, was supposedly baffled yet again. They only caught the killer, we are told, because his family turned him in. This is the same agency that can allegedly track a terrorist's cell phone in real time from a drone halfway around the world, but they can't find a shooter in their own country. The family has to turn him in. The narrative is just absurd on its face. Say what you will about who did it or who did not do it. That's not really the point. The point is that they acted like they didn't know about it, so they actually either didn't know about it, or they did, and this is just the bullshit they're giving us. Either way, it's not good. It's not good enough. The more plausible explanation, though, is that the shooter's profile did not fit the pre-approved list of domestic terrorists, so there was really no urgency to find him. Right? The investigation was low priority until the public pressure forced their hand. Oh, the dad turned him in? Really? What are we doing here? What are we paying you to do? What the fuck are we paying you to do? Get your shit together. Right? The conclusion here, though, out of all of this, is that the FBI and its allies in academia and big pharma, tech media, they're not neutral arbiters of law and order. They are a political police force. I'm sure a lot of people are aware of that, but that's just what the FBI is now. Their primary mission is not to solve crimes and keep the American public safe, but it's just to manage public perception and to suppress dissenting voices. They are armed with the tools of a totalitarian state, but are tasked with defending the interests of the corrupt elites, the ruling class. You know what the other federal agencies call the FBI? They call them famous but incompetent. That's the acronym for FBI. It's a kindness one. It's kind to them. You know why? Because a more accurate description of them would be willfully complicit. They are not just bumbling fools. I'm sure some of them are. It seems like they're actually in on it. They're malicious actors. You know, the speed of the information blackout surrounding this shooting, Mustafa Karbuch, whoever actually did it, it's telling. You know, it shows a system is terrified of what the public might discover if the full truth were known. It's like, oh, you knew about, let's just say it is this guy. Let's say it is. Now, when the public finds out that this guy was on their radar or whatever, you know the meme, he was on our radar. Bart, say the line. He was on our radar. We didn't do anything about it. Then everyone starts cheering. But anyways, yeah, if the public knew, it's like, hey, we've been watching this guy and we just didn't do shit about it, you know, the public would lose their minds. So they're hiding something or they're just incompetent. Either way, it's not good. Like I already said, this shows that the shooter's political motivations are so inconvenient for them that they must be erased from history before they can be properly examined. Who knows? Who knows? That's just what I'm going off of because we don't have shit to look at. You know, when the institutions designed to protect us instead work to deceive us, the social contract is broken. It has been broken for a very long time, to be honest with you. The FBI has just become an enemy of the truth, and therefore an enemy of the people that it's supposed to serve. Its consistent failures are not accidents anymore. They are the result of a fundamental corruption that renders the organization not just useless, but actively dangerous to a free society. I'm pretty sure the FBI started off with a bunch of fucking scams and like bullshit anyways. So it's just been like that since it started. You know, the only rational response to an institution like this, the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, our biggest and most famous federal law enforcement agency, it's really not even reform anymore. You just got to throw the whole thing in the trash. It's garbage. You need to get it. We can't save you. You know, you're not saving. We can't. It's a cancer that must be cut out before it consumes what little remains of the Republic. It's just another thing that's dragging us all down. So, all right, guys, that's really all from me today. Just wanted to dunk on the FBI and remind you that, they're not to be trusted. They're either doing this on purpose, which they probably are, or they're stupid, which they probably are. I think it's honestly a combination of both. But, all right, guys, that's all from me today. God bless you and your families. America first and only. Jimmy Talks out.